Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, A.D. Walker, the Busha, the Gro, the Motivator. So, listen, greetings, Mama McCory. Thank you for being here. Oh, yeah, on both sides. There you go. There we go. So, listen, what I need you to do is a very special episode of broadcast of the Brothers of Legacy. Make sure you share, let the world know that the brothers are on. I have a special guest coming through today. We're going to be talking about starting a business from scratch on this Fired Up Friday with my brother, my mentor, David McCulloch. Make sure I get it right. So we're going to be discussing starting a business plan, and he's going to be sharing some of his stories. And you know how we do with our conversations. Make sure you are sharing, asking questions, whatever's on your mind when it deals, in this space of business, because all of us have business ideas. We have things that we want to start, things we want to get into. But the main thing is how do I get started? How do I turn what I'm great at into some money? And what I'm good at into some money. So we're going to dig into that. Again, I appreciate you guys for being here. Rocking with us. There you go, Lisa, in the building. Blessings. Thank you for sharing. And we're going to have a great time. I have my man, Kwame, in the building. Raise your hand if you remember Kwame. Raise your hand if you remember Kwame. And Pastor's hanging in the wing. Awesome. We're going to have a great broadcast today. This is going to be awesome. Listen, you don't want to miss this. I feel it way down in my shando that this is going to be a great show. This here is going to be great. All right. So we look forward to seeing you. Hang tight. Listen, you know what you do. Share, tag, let the world know. And if you're on the text community, take that text and share it to somebody else. All right. So don't want to prolong this intro. We're going to dig right into this. So hang tight. Hold on. We'll be right back. Let's see.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Yes.
There we go.
Gentlemen, how is the morning?
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
yes.
Happy Friday.
I got to my desk this morning and I kept looking. I was like, Friday. Wait a minute. I completely missed Thursday.
Well, let me just give you a little review, brother. I saw you yesterday and you were there on Thursday.
We saw you, but were you there?
Wow.
All right. As you can see, we have another face in the place, Mr. David McCulloch. We appreciate you. He is my SCORE mentor. We're going to talk about that a little bit towards the end. Basically, Service Corps of retired executives, and it's been an amazing journey with David. He's been helping with my business plan, and what Brothers of Legacy is now. It's gonna be a lot different in a year from now. So just as a note. So I want David to just kind of share who he is, where he comes from, and then we'll dig into building business from scratch.
Welcome, sir. Glad to have you with us this morning.
Thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you guys. AD, thank you for bringing me on.
Yes, indeed.
And just have enjoyed working with AD at SCORE as his mentor. And as he said, there's really going to be some exciting things coming out as Brothers of Legacy begins to expand because it's already taken root and begin to start doing some phenomenal things. A little bit about me. Background includes working with SCORE, which I have been a mentor now for over 2 years. Prior to that, working at the University of Georgia's Terry College of Business, where I oversaw their executive programs, the corporate programs that we developed and rolled out to corporations, predominantly here in Atlanta, but also throughout Georgia, and actually did some national classes and programs as well. Prior to that, about 15 years at the Technical College System of Georgia, working as their VP of Economic Development. And way before that, when I migrated from my native city of Chicago worked in education, but also I spent most of my professional experience in real estate. So I know you're trying to figure out how do you go from real estate to education. And in between all that, also got my law degree and practice law as well. So happy to be here.
Awesome.
Glad
So-
to have you. I think you're on mute there, bro.
Yeah, so you're a native of Chicago. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Native of Chicago.
Yeah, from Chicago.
Okay. Awesome.
So you got K3 in the house right here.
Oh, all right.
I'm not pointing up. I'm saying me. Like
Oh, okay.
Kankakee, native of Kankakee.
All right.
Yeah. Can you give me the acronym? You said SCORE. Can you break that out for me?
Yeah, SCORE is the and AD. I'm going to ask you to help me out because he said it 3 times, and I'm so used to saying SCORE, but it's the I believe it's the senior
Service Corps of Retired Executives.
Service Corps of Retired
Yeah.
Executives.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you Google it, SCORE is enough. Actually, if you're looking local and you're down here in Atlanta, you would Google SCORE NMA,
Yes.
which is the North Metro Atlanta chapter. But
Yes.
SCORE is all over the globe, all over the nation, and actually we do some international things as well.
Definitely.
Nice.
Definitely. All right. So I guess we could just kind of jump into it and we'll flow from there.
Both feet.
There you go. All right. So the one of the questions directly from my wife, she was asking, can any hobby be monetized? Can any hobby be monetized? And what would that kind of look like?
Well, I would say that certainly any hobby can be monetized if there is a demand in the market for it, for the good or service. And that's usually one of the key determinants of deciding whether or not your hobby is of the type that you can actually convert it over into a business. Because once you monetize and you start selling the programs or services that you've been doing for fun,
Yes.
it evolves into a business. So I would think that would probably be one of the key ways of figuring it out. Also, I think that once you start doing that, you start also figuring out the quality, whether or not what you're doing is of a quality that folks are willing to pay for. And then you also want to figure out how much to charge for it, and all that kind of stuff evolves as you begin to look at ways to start monetizing what you do. I think that a lot of businesses, small businesses, evolve out of folks taking their hobbies and doing something and converting it into something that starts bringing in a few bucks. I had the opportunity to actually read and then speak to a young man that whose hobby was drones. The drones, the things that are flying.
Right.
And he bought a drone, enjoyed it, figured out how to operate it. Then he spent a little money, bought a second drone, and this drone had camera capabilities along with, operationally, he could do it at different speeds, different levels, different angles.
Nice.
And ultimately, he ended up, someone ended up contacting him from real estate and asked him to do a drone of a house that they were selling. And pretty soon, one house led to a second house. And it's interesting now because I think he's got about 4 or 5 drones. And what he's also doing in addition to helping real estate agents take pictures or videos of their houses, is he's now reaching out to roofing businesses and gutter guard companies. And, they're kind of showing the before and after using his videos to show the before and after of the work that they do. So
that's cool.
So yeah, it's an example in there. Just again, the starting point is, and you talk, I talk about this all the time, AD. Starting point is always your passion.
Right.
And usually your hobby is your passion. It's something that you enjoy doing. It's something that it brings you satisfaction. Again, as others start knocking on your door and say, "Hey, I like this. Can I buy this from you?" Or, you big gumbo better than anybody else. Can you make me a pot? And I'll pay for the, for the ingredients. And before you know it, pay a little bit more, and you find yourself in business. So
nice. So and that's cool. And so I got to follow with that though. So everybody gets excited. You know, you create something, pass the buy it from me. I'm like, oh, I think I can sell this. Kaneem said, you know what? I think I'm interested in that. Oh, is there ever a point? And listen, some of these questions, it goes to you guys as well, because I was thinking about that, right? And I was probably like the last 3 or 4 years, I was big on the hobby into a business. But you know, when a hobby turns into a business, it can lose some of its fun. Because now, if it's something I'm doing for someone else, you know, there are specifics, there's specs, you know, there's timelines. You know, like I can't take 2 months to do this. Like I gotta get it within a certain amount of time. You know, there's pastors like, yeah, it's nice, but I need you to add this color or change this on it. And I'm like, you know, like,
Yeah.
so
When you saying a hobby into a business, I mean,
yeah.
it's always gonna be fun, your hobby. But now that you have commitments,
Yes.
now you have responsibilities.
Yes.
Now I have to, like you said, the timeline. I'm like, hold on, I was just doing this for entertainment.
Right.
I was doing this for joy.
Right.
Now I'm on a schedule, and I gotta be somewhere, or be up, or you know, it now turns into a whole itinerary of my day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I can definitely understand how you can lose some of the love for it. It's not the love for the hobby. It's all the other things that come with it.
Right. And I think about artists, maybe like they're probably the only ones that kind of can still stay in the enjoyment space. Singers maybe not, because you know there's more demand. I think like painting or something is like, oh, this is what I painted. If you guys like it, you know, $10,000. You know, like, but I think it's a little less pressure. But of course, you know, it's always when you turn something, when you become big and you blow up. Now it's a little more pressure to create greatness because people want to get involved. Hey, I'll be your manager. Now it's like, hey, I need 5 paintings by the end of this week. You know, it's like, wait a minute. It used to take me 1 by the end of this week. Now you want 5, you know. So real quick, good morning, Michael. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, V. Good morning, Lady McCory. Thank you for coming through. Oh, she said, right. She said, all right.
I don't want her. Don't be volunteering your gumbo to people who love you.
Hey,
let's go.
That might become a business.
Right.
You heard what David said.
Good morning, Sam. Wonderful wife. Good morning. So yeah, so I think about that as well. The hobby into a business. And like I said, it's always good. And you know, when you say, David, that's kind of like something that you have to consider. You know, like remember now, this is, you know, now Kaneem is he's putting a little demand on it. Like I'm paying you. I need this a certain way, you know, like I love your creativity, but I need my logo colors. You know, like I need it to kind of shape like the logo. I need it to kind of fit into my business, you know. So wouldn't you say that's some of the challenge as well?
Well, I would definitely agree. And I think that Kaneem brings up a great point, which is every hobbyist, every person that has a hobby isn't an entrepreneur. And to that extent, you know, it's a hobby. You love what you're doing. You're doing something that you're passionate about. But everybody isn't the kind of person that can then say, okay, looking at that passion, you know what, I can make some money off of this. And you know what, because as Kaneem said, at that point, you're looking and saying, all right, if I can make some money off of this, now I got to think about what's involved in taking that next leap. And so I would say that's the key distinction is, you know, everybody has some hobby. You know, if I was to ask you to record your day and what you did in it, it wouldn't be hard for us to figure out what your hobby was. And your hobby may be watching football on TV. But the point being is that.
I definitely make a lot of money watching football.
A side hustle where you making money off of fantasy football. So you know, but you know, again, it is about you know, it's the same way with you know, where you spend your money. I can tell you what you enjoy and what you're passionate about by if we looked at your bank account and saw, you know, your disposable income and where you are spending those things that you buy after you get past all the things, your necessities. So that's the thing. And then once you do start looking at it, your passion, your hobby, in the business light, then I definitely would agree with Kaneem. Now you got to start thinking about what's involved in those commitments. And at some point you arrive at that juncture that says, you know what, either I enjoy this and I'm going to figure out how to convert it to a business and it evolves, or you look and say, you know what, I'm losing my love for it because I've got all these other demands. And so now let me back out of that and just do it because I love it.
Right. That's good. That's good. Let's see. Sam said, good morning. You hear that? Look, V said, I ain't had gumbo.
I gotta be careful about what I say.
Hey,
Can we get that
got the
shipped?
Gumbo Nation all
Well, you know what? I'll be your first customer. I love gumbo.
Right. Lady, of course, said, hey, honey, I won't cook his gumbo like I cook yours. I'll put more on yours. You get the special gumbo. You get the special gumbo.
Oh, okay. All right. You went to get Brian's gumbo. She might leave out of there something on everybody else.
Right. It's the same. So real quick, you watching the Brothers of Legacy. You just fired up Friday. Talking about building your business from scratch. Just so everybody know, if you have any burning questions, and even if we asked it, we can kind of revisit a little bit, but just feel free to ask any questions, throw some comments up there. Of course, make sure you share, tag somebody, tag other people that you know are looking to start their business, that have been talking about starting a business for the last 10, 20, 30 years. This may be their time. This may be the opportunity. This could be the broadcast that helps move them. So today you don't have to motivate them. Let us do that job. And so my next question I want to ask, what are some of the biggest mistakes people make when starting a business? Like, what are the things, like when you talk to them and starting a business plan, what are the things that people may make, mistakes they make, or things they don't consider? Like you say it and you're like, oh man, I didn't think about that.
Oh, it looked like Brian got an add on. You got an add on, Brian?
No, I don't really. Before, because I love that question.
Yeah.
But I heard David talk about his background and everything, and I was curious as to how you got here. Right?
Okay.
What made you begin to do what did you see that triggered you to delve into this as a sense of purpose?
That's a great question, Brian. And as with most folks, the paths aren't always clear cut. And so my arrival at SCORE actually evolved when I made the decision when COVID hit to retire. And so again, coming out of higher education at UGA, it just when SCORE hit, we had to, like everybody else, close up the campus for a number of months. And I was working out of the Buckhead campus in Metro Atlanta. And so we had to close the campus. Most of our classes were face-to-face. And so we had to convert a lot of them quickly into online classes. And, the college broadly, along with my area, executive programs in particular, did take a hit. Fortunately, I had a great and very talented team, because I think that one of the clear signs of leadership is when you are able to move on, but make sure that you have left a group of leaders in your stead so that they can continue the movement. But it basically was, COVID hit. My wife and I looked at the retirement package and said, you know what, you've been saving all this money up for a reason. Here's that rainy day. And so retired 6 months into retirement, got extremely bored, did all my stuff on my list. And y'all know, y'all brothers know what that list looked like. did all my stuff on my list. And a couple of things happened. One was I jumped into SCORE. Because I thought there were some things that I could do to give back, particularly to entrepreneurs and budding, as well as existing small businesses led by leaders of color, because, some of the stats were just very alarming as it related to small Black businesses owned by African Americans. During the COVID period, if you think about this, it wasn't even a full year's time when it hit the hardest. Over 40% of Black businesses closed down, small businesses. And that's just an alarming number when you think that 90% of the nation is employment in the nation. Folks are employed by small businesses, businesses of less than 500 workers or 100 workers.
Wow.
So looked at that, thought there was something I could give and contribute to, and so joined SCORE. Also got a knock on the door to join a small nonprofit called Trade Talks USA.
Yes.
And I love Trade Talks. Trade Talks, we call ourselves the voice of skilled trades. And what we do is we introduce construction-related trade careers to young folks in particular, middle school and high schoolers, particularly those high school seniors that graduate and aren't quite ready or sure they want to do college. And then also to folks that maybe don't have the requisite skills or the career tracks that are leading into professions and, kind of get in their ruts and are looking to get into something that allows them to earn a great living and also become independent. Most construction is actually done by small business and independent contractors. And so, long story short, that's how I jumped into those two areas. Love working with SCORE, have a chance to work with entrepreneurs, budding, and those who have already started businesses and organizations like Brothers of Legacy. And, when you run into people who have passion, and most entrepreneurs have passion, but also understand the mechanics of business, and with a little guidance, a little help can go on to do some very successful things. There's nothing more fulfilling and rewarding to me.
Yeah.
And so,
Nice.
I'm sorry, that was a long-winded answer to you.
No,
Brian,
that's good.
Brian,
That was
but,
good.
That's the right answer. I like it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Tim is asking, what advice would you give someone who is gifted at several things and they can't narrow down what they want to do?
I would say so. The first question and I think it's a great question, Samantha. The first question I would ask would be, if I took care of all of your personal expenses and I said, take care of all of that, pick that one thing out of the several things that you gifted at and really focus in on that. And let's figure out how to give you the time and the commitment and all the resources you need to really get that thing up and running and, wherever you want to take it. Then that kind of gives you an idea of what it is that you not only are gifted in, but what it is that you'd like to begin to put your focus into. I would say the other two is that I would kind of write a list of those things that you think you're gifted at and figure out where there are some opportunities to converge.
Right.
You may be both gifted in motivational speaking.
Right.
And you may also be gifted or your experience may be in health services. And so, you look at converging those two things, and it may be that you are motivating nurses, you're motivating healthcare providers through speeches and motivational speaking opportunities. So that's kind of a rough example of what I might suggest to you.
Nice. She's talking about, oh man, you just got me excited. Watch out.
Man, I'm gonna write Samantha's name down. I want to see her go on to do great things. Like,
Yes, indeed.
I gave her some advice.
All right. Just a clarification, that is for that's my wife. Oh, it didn't go through.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the wife.
right,
So I will definitely connect with
Samantha, we gonna talk.
There
One
you
of those meetings that when AD and I set something up, one of those meetings is gonna be you and me instead of
There you
him.
go.
How's that?
So the mistake. What's the mistake or the thing that someone doesn't realize when
I think that the two that always come to mind when I have a chance to work with particularly budding entrepreneurs is doing the research on what it is that they want to do and what it is going to take and both the time commitment as well as understanding the nuances of whatever that business might be, understanding your product, understanding your services, and really immersing yourself in that side of understanding your business. And then the second is really understanding the sacrifices that are going to be involved.
Okay.
I think one of the things that I hear often from entrepreneurs, particularly those that are in year one or year two, there's that old rule of thumb that says 3 years is kind of your point that you look and decide whether you make it or break it. But I think that it's understanding the sacrifice that's going to be involved. And entrepreneur after entrepreneur will tell you that once you really get involved in developing your business, there are some sacrifices. There's time commitments that are involved. There are personal expenses, or personal investments of your income. Although I emphasize, the old rule about OPM, when you start getting in business, your ultimate goal when you get to that point, and you'll get there very soon,
Right.
Because one of the things I say is figure out how much money that you are willing to commit to your business, because you're going to end up doing it one way or the other. And knowing that in advance and having some sort of budget where you know how much you're going to spend towards your business is one. But when you hit that threshold, and you kind of already into it, the natural inclination is to say, all right, we got to figure out more ways to, all right, I'm gonna cut back on this, I'm gonna cut back on that expense because I want to drop it into the business. And that can be a not so stable place to be in terms of your business operations. So as you get your business to a certain point, you begin to look for other people's money, investors, folks that are angels willing to make an investment into you. And that kind of leads me to the next point and mistake that I find that business owners make, particularly up and coming businesses, and that is having a business plan. Right. Now, I'm not saying you need a 30-page document, because you can do a 1-page business canvas plan, but you have to have something in place that says, here's number one, what my business is all about, purpose, mission, vision of the business. And AD and I talked about that, and he's got a phenomenal plan he's working on, along with your values. What do you stand for? What is your business going to stand for? Right. And then the second is, again, doesn't have to be elaborated, but here's how much my expenses are. Here's how much money I am generating. Here's my net profits, my gross profits, and so having an idea to be able to forecast that in advance. And then the other pieces, kind of fall in place. Your marketing plan, how am I going to get the word out about what I'm doing to begin to attract customers and then retain customers. But that's the other piece that's missing too. I particularly with young entrepreneurs. I mean, when I say young, I mean budding entrepreneurs. When I ask them what their plan is, I say, "Do you have a plan?" Yeah. My response is, I think that's great, but the reason you put it down on paper is because at some point in time, particularly if you are starting a business and you putting your personal money in it, you got to explain that business to your significant other. Right. You got to explain that business to because they're going to be making sacrifices, going to be involved. And where you really want to be is being able to explain that business to those folks that will be willing to make an investment in your business. Right. And most folks won't make an investment if you tell them your business, but then they don't have something that they can refer back to say, "Oh, I like this." And when your business gets to a certain point, you're going to actually be looking at, and nothing wrong with this, financing, loans. You're going to be looking at really beginning to acquire, a considerable amount of capital to really infuse and get your business up off the ground and then scale. And folks need to see your plan. Need to see your plan of operation. And again, it doesn't have to be 20, 30, 40 pages. Right. It can be, a handful of pages. It can be a one-pager. And even as a one-pager, as you grow, you'll be adding more to it. It's a living document. So yeah. And those are the three things.
That was the main point I was going to mention too, because you always tell me that the living document. So it's always growing and it's developing. So you don't have to have everything, because remember, you're starting out, so you don't have every resource, you don't have every cost, because there's always something like that you don't realize that's going to have a cost in developing business. But so with building a plan, so for me and Dave, we've been talking about the nonprofit space. Hey, good morning, Keita. Thank you for rocking with us. We've been talking about the nonprofit space and the importance of it. And Pastor has a lot of experience in that space as well. What would you say when it comes to nonprofits in that space? Like some of the things people don't think about, because I've heard a lot of people want to start nonprofits and do some good work, and of course get the grants, because You know, I think it's probably people would rather go after the government and get grants, or private companies and get grants, as opposed to relying on the smaller and people coming in. You know, not smaller people, but individuals giving into as far as charity, because that, you know, the economy affects that quicker, you know, than the government and the corporations and things of that nature. So what are some of the things people need to consider when starting a nonprofit and going after money?
Okay. Great question. I think the starting point for most nonprofit entrepreneurs that I talk to is I always begin by asking, so what's the purpose of what it is that you're trying to do? Right. And you know, they tell me, you know, generally it's all about how to serve others. And that really is the starting point of a nonprofit. It is about serving others. Most nonprofits, virtually all nonprofits, are in it for purposes of providing assistance and support of some kind to others. And I think to some extent, you know, there's that old, you know, I'm old school. I do a lot of reading. So I always go to Socrates, know thyself, Shakespeare, unto thyself be true. And to that extent, I ask, you know, the nonprofit entrepreneur, I say, all right, you just shared with me what it is that you want to do and how you want to serve others. Suppose we were able to get that off the ground, and the only qualifier would be that no one could ever know about you. No one could ever know that you were the founder. No one could ever know that you are the driving force behind that nonprofit. Would you be comfortable with that? And if the question is, well, no, because you know, and then we have to, well, no, because I kind of want folks to know all these great things that I've done, right. Or you know, no, because ultimately I want to use that nonprofit to parlay and begin to build a brand so I can do some other things on the profit side. Well, then we have that question about the whole purpose and the premise behind the nonprofit, because ultimately all those other things that I talked about are going to kick in place. You're going to be making sacrifices, because at the end of the day, a nonprofit is still a business. You cannot operate a nonprofit without capital. Now, the capital just happens to come from somebody else, and it is more of a giving. There's not a monetary ROI or return on investment based on it, but it is, you know, there are expectations that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And so, you know, the sacrifices are involved in it. Operating it as a business is key. And I think to some extent, passion definitely has to be there. And the fourth thing, and probably very important, is that most nonprofits are tax exempt, or most nonprofits have a tax exempt status. So, you know, for those of you who have kind of heard of it, it's that 501c3 tax status. And the thing about the tax status is that, again, it is about you setting up an operation where you are going to be giving to others. And the purpose of the tax status is the government wants to make sure that you indeed are set up to do just that. So they want to make sure that's the case. I say the finally too with nonprofits is entrepreneurs is understand your limitations. And then either do your research, and you know you're going to need more time to spend on it, or find somebody that can give you a hand in helping to develop the nonprofit. The other thing I suggest to entrepreneurs that want to start nonprofits is, if you know somebody else is doing what it is that you want to do, even if what you want to do is a little bit different, spend a little time talking to them. Find somebody that's doing it, take them to lunch, take them for a cup of coffee. Pick their brain as much as you can about the successes, about the challenges that they faced in setting it up. And if possible, ask that person if they can serve as a mentor. You know, and it can be, I don't need to see you every week, but you know, I need to be able to bounce some ideas with you on it. And if you're really not sure whether or not it's what you want to be, and volunteer with that organization. It's a great way to see internally, mechanically, how it works. And if you, again, are ready to, you know, really take that plunge and do what needs to be involved in getting it up and running.
Nice. Okay.
But, and the final thing I want to mention too, which is that Anthony and I have talked about this, most nonprofits are not owned by you, by the founder. Most nonprofits have boards set up, and the board actually governs the nonprofit. A nonprofit generally ends up becoming, particularly if it's a 501c3, a legal entity that is kind of, I say, like its own person. So, as the founder of a nonprofit, unless you have it structured a little bit differently, you establish it, you get it up and running, you bring on a board, and then the board manages or I should say governs the nonprofit. You as the executive director or you as a person become an employee of the nonprofit. And so it's not like you continue to do this and you don't make any money, but you are an employee of this legal entity that is on its own.
Right. Right. And one of the things I know you said was, so how much control are you willing to kind of give up? Like, do you want to stay, when you're setting the organization up? And we had that question. I had to think about it. I'm like, like,
you had a long thought about it.
I want to fly. Like sometimes I just, I don't know. Like, and then I'm thinking in my head, I need a board of yes people. Like, I just need y'all here so y'all can say yes. And I guess most of mine like, okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but I need y'all to trust me. All right,
I was gonna say, and when you build your board, I mean, you're looking for a couple of things. You're looking for folks that have a like commitment to your vision and to your mission. And then the second thing is you're looking for folks who can support the organization. So a good board member comes in and they know that they aren't the daily drive behind the nonprofit organization, but they come in with that heart that says, all right, what can I bring to the table to help this organization live up to its mission and reach its vision? And so you find the right folks on your board.
Indeed. Pastor, looked like you had a question, or had a.
No, I'm just absorbing all of the information, and I'm glad to hear the consistency in the messaging when it comes to non-for-profits. So I appreciate that. There's some I don't want to say misnomer. I'm not. When it comes to raising funds, right, and this whole misconception that if there are two organizations doing the same thing, right? I tell people all the time when it comes to salvation, there's room at the cross, right?
Great point.
There's room for you, right? That's the thing. This whole intimidation with competition and someone's doing it on a larger scale and you'll never be able to keep up and that kind of thing. How do you encourage people to move away from that type of disposition that will dishearten them from progressing forward in their desire to chase their purpose?
Oh, that's a great point, Brian, and particularly as it and I'm assuming we're still talking about nonprofits. With nonprofits, there is enough work, if you will, to go around. People are in need, and sometimes you may look at an organization like the Salvation Army, or you may look at the organization like United Way, and United Way has has an outstanding pre-K program where it works with single parents and moms in particular to help prepare those folks. And you may want to get into some aspect of that. You may want to set up a pre-K program for parents who work, who can bring their kids in, kind of like a daycare program. And you would look and say, well, United Way is doing it. Ain't no way I can do it. But you determine the demand, and the fact that you're in it means that you have seen the need in some way, shape, or form. And so, as you said, there are always opportunities to serve others. In terms of funding, that's one of the things that you research, but that's also one of the areas that, I think folks are surprised at the number of organizations that are out there that are willing to give to organizations, again, that have dedicated themselves to what it is that they say they're going to do in helping others, but also have a plan of some kind that says, when you make your investment in my organization, here's not only what we say that we're going to do, but I can see mechanically that you have the ability to do it. I would also say, too, particularly when it comes to churches and religious organizations, they're multi-tiered providers. They identify and provide the need on a number of levels for their parishioners. And again, if you're not clear on what it takes to do what your plan said, might involve, please volunteer. If it may be for a day, it may be for a week, it may be for months, but volunteer and find out. There's nothing like getting on the ground level and getting a better view of what it takes to serve those folks in the area that you want to provide service. And I know that, from my church, as well as a bunch of other churches, most churches are always looking for folks to volunteer.
Right.
Oh yeah,
That's good.
that's one of the greatest challenges.
But come with a humble heart and come with an open mind. Don't come in there saying, "All right, I'm getting ready to start my nonprofit, and I'm gonna show y'all how it really should be done."
Right.
I want to go back to something that you said. You made the statement. They recognize that mechanically you know how to do it.
Yeah.
That's what you said, right? And then your last statement was, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to launch a non-for-profit. I'm going to show you how it's done. The mindset of let me tell you what I'm able to do, give me money, versus let me show you what I've done, help me go further.
Right.
Big difference.
That's good.
Good
That's good. Yeah.
That's huge. And if you're just getting off the ground, your vision may be to help 500, but the reality of it is you may start out helping 5. And, and so it's also understanding and appreciating that, you grow, you don't arrive and become, you don't automatically become, you grow into that organization. Yes. And there are, again, when you do your research, and I think that's one of the key things when you do your research, particularly when it comes to funding and contributions, you will find there are folks out there even willing to assist and support you getting off the ground and up and running. But again, even those, they're gonna want to see, all right, what is it that you want to do and how is it that you're gonna do it?
Right. Definitely. All right. Just a quick reset. You guys are watching the Brothers of Legacy. We are Fired Up Friday, building your business from scratch. Fired up.
Come on,
with David McCulloch. So I put a few links, one to Trade Talks USA. You definitely need to check that out, as well as I put the SCORE, www.score.org. Check their organization out. It's amazing. Connect yourself with a mentor and let he or she help build your plan to your business. So it's been great. I love this talk. I got a question though.
Uh-oh.
This one's off the wall.
Shut up, David.
It's off the wall. What is your feeling about MLMs? Do you feel they're a scam? Because I got to ask correctly before she get at me. Do you feel it's a scam? She was like, you don't ask the question the way I put them.
All right. Well, by MLMs, I'm assuming that you're talking about multi-level marketing organizations. Yes. I think they're also known as direct marketing or network marketing. Yes. And so the model itself, I think, is it's a legitimate one. It's one that, like any other business model, has, procedures by which it operates. MLMs, some of the more legitimate and very successful ones include Mary Kay, Avon, another big one, Primerica. If you're familiar with the insurance company, Primerica is another one. And so I think that generally, the concept as a model is a functional one. You're kind of basically building, as I understand it, and I'm not an expert in it, but instead of retail outlets, basically what you have in place is you've got individuals in a network that's selling and distributing the products. So it's a little more unique. I think that as with anything, any business venture, the starting point is doing your research. If you've got somebody that's knocking on the door and says, hey, I got a great organization I'm a part of, I think you can be a part of it as well. We distribute that sort of thing. And do your research on the organization. Find out who they are, how long they've been in business. Find out, find out a little the background of the officers and the founders, and just do that due diligence that you would normally do with anything. If somebody was hiring you for a job, you would look at that company, or you would do a little work to figure out what that company is all about, to make sure that they're in business, and you're going to be there for at least a little while.
Right.
And so that part of it. Also, I would suggest again, you are the direct salesperson of products, so you want to learn about your products.
Right.
You want to make sure that there's a market for them, there's a demand for them, and you have some idea of where that might be, the quality of the products that you're selling under the MLM, and probably the third one that I would suggest, and this is where I put on my former attorney's hat. Make sure that somebody is looking at and you fully understand what you're signing.
Right.
And I'll give you. I had two experiences with MLMs, and one involved going to an event, where we learned about the company. We got a chance to see and check out the products, and then it was asked that we sign an agreement at the event. Right. And I hadn't seen it before. Wanted to think about it. Looked at this thing and said, "Well, I need a little time to think about this. Can I take it with me?" And the response was no. But honestly, you got to sign it here because we're moving too fast for you to take a week to sign it and so forth. And that was kind of my red flag.
Right.
But then again, that's my law background. I share with anybody. Don't sign nothing you don't fully understand. And if you don't understand that contract, find somebody who does understand it and can interpret it for you. Right. And if you can't do those things, don't sign. I used to be in real estate, practice in real estate law, and the other side of the table used to hate when I came in, because what would happen is they wouldn't send me the documents before, so I could explain it to my client. Wow. And so at closing, it was the only chance that I did, and I literally went through each document.
Right, like y'all gotta wait,
which means y'all gotta wait. And so it got to the point of where when they saw me at closing, I'm like, oh, okay, order lunch. Get a fresh pot of coffee because we're gonna be here for a while. But this investment was too important, for somebody to just sign and not understand and appreciate what they were signing. So that's what I would say too. And then the third is to understand yourself in an MLM. Again, know thyself, unto thyself be true, because it's about selling and recruiting.
Right.
And you're recruiting a network and you're selling a product. And if you aren't comfortable doing those things, if you don't have the temperament, if you don't have the passion or the personality, really think about what it is that you're going to be doing. The pull is always quick money. You can be rich before you know it. You got a network of 50 people out there, and they all working, and you earning money off of commission off of theirs, and that as a model works. But if you don't have the ability to recruit, if you don't have the ability to sell product, none of that means anything. So I hope I wasn't too long-winded on that, and hope I didn't upset too many folks about.
No, if they upset, they'll get over it.
Right. you stay right there. You good.
Listen, the power of influence, charisma. If you don't have charisma, if you don't have the power of influence, if you don't have a strong network, you're only as good as your network when it comes to that kind of stuff, because it's really not about the product. Yeah. It's really about you. You're selling more of yourself than you are the product, because I don't care what anybody says. There was a time Avon ruled the world. Is that the case today?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because products change, but service and influence, those are that's the foundation for being successful in any sales-driven environment.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess I should say, David, would you agree?
Absolutely. And to the point you raised, Avon. I mean, Avon cornered the market because not only did they have a good product, but they came to your house.
Right.
And they sold to you, and more than likely it was a friend, or it was a relative, or it was somebody you knew, so that trust level was there.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's what the network was really all about. That's how they cornered it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, it says B2B. He said Better Business Bureau. Indeed.
Yeah.
Great point.
And the other piece is, you're building your network. Make sure you're recruiting people who are heading in the same direction as you, right? Because I tell people all the time, anybody comes up to me and they're trying to sell stuff, I'm like, listen, I'll buy it from you, but I'm not going to sell it.
Come on, man. You got a church.
I'm not going to sell it. Oh, you got influence. You got a whole group. Yeah, I got you, but
you in the jurisdiction. Go on, son.
Yeah. You know, that Ganoderma root in the coffee product with the Ganoderma root. I won't say the name. Right? Helps your immune system and all that. Yeah, that's all well and good, but I'm not going to wait on you for my coffee. I can let other people get my coffee. I'll take supplements for my immune system. Thank you. But I'll buy it because you're a good person. We're friends, and I want to support you. You know what I mean? That's so you got to really. And I love what you're saying. To thine own, know who you are, know what you're representing, know and know where the real value, the real product is. That's the thing. I know you can go buy this at Kmart. I know you can go. I said Kmart. I know you can go buy this at Target. I know you can go buy this at. You know, but getting it from me helps me, and it also does this.
Right.
You know,
Great
that's
points.
Yeah.
So
True.
MLM in and of itself is fine. Like you said, the structure is fine, but the people make it.
Right.
Seriously, man, because you know the infrastructure is not the crook; it's the people.
Yeah.
Right. Great point. Great distinction. Great distinction.
Definitely. So before we get out of here, I don't know if you want to share any way to connect with you or just to go through SCORE, you know, with any questions, or you can contact Brother Legacy at gmail.com. And if you have any more questions, I can hit you up. I don't know, you know, like, did you want direct? It's fine. I could funnel the questions if you had some other questions you want to ask. We'll definitely do that. Now, understand SCORE is a volunteer. These guys, like David, they volunteer. So it is, as far as I know, like a free service, at least with the business plan in the beginning. You know, I'm sure some may offer premium stuff, but just know the base of it is free. So go to score.org and sign up. All you do is put your information in, what you're looking for, and they'll match you up with someone in that space, at least that can be knowledgeable for whatever you're trying to do, whatever business may be, profit, nonprofit. So definitely, and I would say probably be as specific as possible. So you'll get, and what you're looking for. So, you know, so you'll get the best candidate or best person to connect with, and they'll hit you up and you decide, yeah, I'll take it. And you have your first meeting. If you're comfortable, just be comfortable. Like, it should be someone, you know, a friendly relationship. If you feel like it's hard and this is somewhere that you're not, you know, just like, this is great, you know, I'll move on, you know, and just go back to SCORE. Hey, I need somebody else. But I would definitely recommend Simon. Kaneem told me about it. It's like, I knew about it. I seen it. But then Kaneem like, hey, you ever thought about SCORE? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get serious this time. I'm gonna actually fill out the information. Like, you know, you look at a website like, oh, that's cool. Okay, Instagram. And so I'm glad Kaneem brought it up and recommended. And definitely, you guys, if you're thinking about doing a business, or at least in the position where you like, it's all here. Like, I know what I want to do. I have it structured, you know, but you need to get it on paper. And let someone help you structure that's been in the business, you know, that's been doing it, you know, got umpteen years, decades of experience. They can help you. It's what's they call the learning curve. Like this phone that rings, and I've never given that number out. Never. Right? Never. That you get that. It's just Julie. Okay. So listen, we appreciate you guys for being here, rock with us. Anybody have any other questions? So this is kind of like my pre-close out, but not, you know, if you got some questions, I don't want to leave here. If there's something on your mind, if you're in the comment section, you're like, just ask it. You know, they'll say there's no dumb questions. There's none.
Absolutely.
There's no dumb questions. Just ask, and we'll try to facilitate as far as business may be, profit or non-profit. If you have a question, this is your time to kind of throw it up there while I'm talking, dragging it along a little bit. You know, that's that church training. You need to, like, I need a few more minutes, and you go, okay, everybody, clap your hands and give God. You know, you got to move along a little bit. Like, Is he up yet? Preachers
Yeah,
in the bathroom.
I really appreciate you for showing up on the program, David. Thank you for educating a lot of folks who weren't aware or had some thoughts that they really wanted to voice their opinion, but I think you answered a lot of questions without them asking them. So I really appreciate the information that you shared today.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I would say a couple of things to AD's point. One is that when you reach out to SCORE, we find the person that we think best matches you in terms of where it is that you want to go with your business venture or your business concept. If we're not the right folks when we do the initial meeting, then we find the right volunteer, mentor who is a better and a best match. And what I share with each of my clients is if for some reason you do feel uncomfortable or you don't feel I'm the right fit, you are not hurting my feelings by letting me know that you would like to have someone else, and I will do everything I can to get you with the right person, because it is about taking your concept, launching it, and for your business, scaling it to where you can most successfully be. And we're national network, so it's not like, I refer folks even in North Metro Atlanta. If there's a measure of expertise that no one on my area has, I reach to KC, I reach to New York, I reach out to California. I mean, we're all over the nation, and I do find that level of expertise. And sometimes we'll bring mentors in to help out. Like finance is not always my strongest suit, particularly, for certain industries. So I find somebody who is. We do a co-mentoring session, get what we need, and then that co-mentor goes away, and then we're back to moving forward with our plan. So it's very flexible. The one thing we do charge for periodically are workshops. And, they're usually at least an hour, sometimes they're 2 hours. They run about $20. So I think they're very reasonable. And for those folks who even have a challenge with making that small investment, I figure out how to make it happen. Because the goal is to get you the information, the resources that you need to take your business concept to fruition, and to take that business once it's up and running and scale it to wherever heights that potentially it can rise. So thank you guys. I've had such a great time. It was such a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So all hearts and minds are clear. All right. I guess so. So look forward to seeing you guys.
Getting real churchy.
He said, great info. Appreciate you being here. Yes, Mama Corey, appreciate you as well. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. Monday, same time, 9 a.m. Same place. Know that we love you. God loves you more. Continue to stay safe. Make good choices. Do the right thing. All that and then some. And listen, real talk. My people in Atlanta, the Georgia area, I need y'all to slow down. I need y'all to slow down. I know you got that V8. I know you got that Hemi. Please, because it's those are the ones I'm seeing in accidents. Please, just slow down. That's all. That's it. All right. We see you guys next week, guys. Be safe. All right. Peace out.